Hi guys, it's Legionero. Welcome back to my channel, and I would like to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Today we are back with another tutorial. So I call this my little boxy bag, right? You can take this as a lunch bag, just a cute little accessory. It's so roomy, and I will show you from start to finish how to draw out your pattern and make this beautiful little boxy bag with straps. So in the next slide, I will list all of the tools and materials that you will need for this pattern, as well as placing them in the description box below. So let's get started. Okay, so let's draw out our pattern. You're going to need to make a square that is 13 by 13. I've already made my 13 by 13, so you go ahead and draw out your square that measures 13 by 13, right? Once you do that, take your ruler. We're going to make some 2-inch gussets. All right, so I have my little mini ruler here. I don't want to wrestle with my big ruler. So I just grab my little mini ruler, and I'm just going to, so here's the one corner. So I just place my little mini ruler. Right? So that is 2 by 2. And I'm just going to take my, don't do like me and let it shift all over the place. I can hold it in place. I'm just going to draw 2 by 2. All right, and do that for all 4 sides. I'm going to the other side. Oops. 2 by 2. Making all kind of boo-boos today. And go up to the top. I want to make sure I turn around the right way so I can actually draw the 2 by 2. Mine is smearing like crazy because I'm moving the ruler before the ink dries, but you should be using pencil, so you shouldn't be having this issue. All right, so make sure that you do all 4 corners. All right, you're going to draw your square 2 by 2. And now let's cut this out. All right, and you are going to cut these squares. So as I'm cutting across the top, I'm going to cut inside my square. All right. Right? So I cut out the square. All right, so your pattern piece should look like this. It should look like a block cross. All right, so you also need a strap piece. Mine is 4 by 18, but I would suggest that you cut your strap 4 by 25. Now, if you want a wider strap, because when I fold this together, my strap is going to be 1 inch wide, but if you want a wider strap, you could do, let's say you want a 1.5 inch strap, you would do 6 by 25, right? That would give you a 1.5 inch strap when you fold it. If you want a 2 inch strap, you do 8 by 25. Okay. All right, so now that we have our two pattern pieces cut, our main piece and our strap piece, let's go ahead and grab our two fabrics. I have two fat quarters here. They're folded in half. This is the selvage edge. So I just took the selvage edge and folded to meet the other edge. And this is my other one. So I'm just going to place them on top of each other like that. Right, so I can cut all four pieces at one time. Now remember, we're doing color blocking. So fold your pattern piece in half. Doesn't matter which way because the measurements are the same. So just fold your pattern piece in half. Place my pattern weights down. And I'm going to cut around. Right, when you finish cutting, you should have four pieces. All right, you should have four pieces. So I have two of the polka dot, and I have two of the floral. Right, so now choose which fabric you want to be your strap fabric, and you cut your straps. You're going to need two straps. So this is another fat quarter. I have decided to use polka dots for my strap. So what I'm going to do, last time I folded it with the selvage edges meeting. This time I'm going to fold it with the long edges meeting. So take one long edge and fold it towards the other long edge. Now if you're using just regular fabric, then you don't have to do all of that. You just cut out your strap. But since I'm using fat quarters, I have to make sure I cut strategically. Right, lay down your pattern piece. And I folded it in half because I'm cutting two pieces. So, and I'm not on the fold, not cutting on the fold. I'm just going to cut out my strap. All right, now you have your two strap pieces cut, and I'm just going to cut off these two little selvage edges. It's only a little bit. It's probably about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to cut that off. All right. Now go ahead and cut out your woven interfacing for your straps. Don't cut out your interfacing for your main bag pieces yet. We're going to wait before we cut those out. But go ahead and cut out your interfacing for your straps. Go ahead and fuse your interfacing to your straps. And then we're going to take it to the ironing board and we're going to iron our straps together. All right, for your strap piece, after you iron on your interfacing, you're going to take your strap and you are going to fold it in half and you're going to press. That should leave a crease in the middle, right? So then you take one edge of your strap and fold it towards the crease and press, and then take the other side of the strap, fold it towards the crease and press, and then fold them together and press. Then you take this to the sewing machine and you're going to sew down both edges. Okay, you should have both straps folded and sewn together down both edges. Now grab one of each of your main pieces. The polka dot is going to be the bottom of my bag. The floral is going to be the top of my bag. And remember I said don't cut your interfacing yet for your main pieces. So take your strap and you're going to place them 3 inches in. So count 1, 2, 3. And at that 3 mark, that's where you place your strap. Hopefully this isn't too hard to see. Right? So from the end, 1, 2, 3. And then right there at your 3 mark, you place your strap. So basically your strap is in the 4th space. If you're counting in, if you're using a ruler, you go 1, 2, 3, and then you put the edge of your strap on the edge of the 3 line. So it'll be at 4, basically. I hope that makes sense. So 1, 2, 3, edge of your strap, and then the strap is in 4. All right. So now take the other main piece, which would be the top of your bag, and place it on top. And you clip it all together. Right, you take this to the sewing machine and you sew across this edge using a 1/2 inch seam allowance. And I do a couple of back stitches when I get to my strap. All right. So take it to the sewing machine, sew down this edge. All right, so now I have them both sewn together. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pin my strap out of the way. Now I'm getting ready to cut my fusible fleece and my lining pieces. All right. So this will be the now pattern template that you will use to cut your fleece and your lining piece. So before we cut out our fusible fleece and our lining pieces and our woven interfacing, go ahead and take this to the ironing board and press your seam allowance open. All right, and you'll see you have a little bit of strap here. Go ahead and just trim that off. Be careful. All right, just release some of that bulk. All right. So now take your lining pieces, and I have just my fabric folded so I can cut 2 pieces at once. So I'm going to take this piece, and this is the piece that I pinned down the strap just so it'll be out of the way. And I'm just going to use this as a pattern template to cut my lining, my fusible fleece, and you need to cut woven interfacing for your lining pieces. All right. Alright, now you have your 2 lining pieces cut. Now go ahead and cut out your fusible fleece. 2 pieces of fusible fleece for your main part of your bag, and 2 woven pieces of interfacing for your lining. Right, after you have all of your interfacing cut, take your fusible fleece and make sure you take this pin out. Take your fusible fleece and you'll place, you may have to keep an eye on this strap because it'll keep getting in the way. But take your fusible fleece, the wrong side of your bag is facing up. The fusible fleece, the bumpy side, goes to the wrong side of your bag. You take this to the ironing board and you press, right? And same thing with the woven interfacing with your lining. The bumpy side goes to the wrong side of your fabric. So once we have everything fused, all of our interfacing, I'll meet you back here at the table with your 2 main pieces, your 2 lining pieces, and your zipper. All right, so you should have your 2 main pieces sewn together. You should have your fusible fleece ironed on. You should also have your lining pieces with the woven interfacing fused to your lining pieces. So take 1 main piece and 1 lining piece, and your zipper. My zipper is much longer. This is a 14-inch zipper, but you don't need a zipper this long. But I'm starting to like using longer zippers because you can just cut away the excess that you're not using. So you will need at least a 9-inch zipper, right, when you're doing this. And even with that one, it's going to be a little bit longer. It's probably going to be about 10.5 because it has the zipper tape on the ends. So at least a 9-inch zipper, but 12, it'll be a little longer, and you can just cut away what you don't need. All right, so take one of your main pieces and go ahead and fold down your strap out of the way. Take your zipper and place it face down, so your zipper pull is facing down. All right. I'm going to take a clip and clip that in place. And take one of your lining pieces and place it on top. And this is another bag that we're kind of putting together like a clutch bag. All right, so you have your zipper sandwiched in between, and the zipper pull is facing the right side of your main fabric. All right, go ahead and take this to the sewing machine, and you're just going to sew down this edge, all right? And you're sewing your zipper to whatever top part you chose. So if you were doing the same fabrics and you chose the polka dot as your top, then you would place the zipper on the polka dot fabric. But the top part of my bag is going to be the floral. Once you have it sewn to your zipper, then you open this up so that wrong sides are facing, and then you go ahead and top stitch down that edge. All right, once you have that done, go ahead and grab your other main piece, move your strap out of the way, and place it face down on the zipper. Your zipper pull is still facing the right side of your fabric. Make sure you line everything up all nice and neat. Make sure your sides, everything is nice and neat. All right. Going to place a clip to hold it in place. All right. Again, make sure everything is nice and neat. And take your other lining piece, place it on top. Make sure it's lined up all nice and neat. Oops. Clip everything together. take this to the sewing machine and sew down this edge just like you did the other side, and then flip it so that wrong sides are facing and top stitch just like the other side. And the good thing about a longer zipper, the zipper pull is out of the way when you're sewing. All right, now you have both sides sewn to your zipper. What you're going to do, you're going to place them with right sides facing. At this point you can unzip your zipper if you want to. Because the bag is going to have these open spaces here, you can easily stick your hand inside your bag and open up the zipper. So you can choose to open up your zipper at this point, or you can wait. All right, make sure your straps are out of the way. You're going to place the main pieces with right sides facing and your lining with right sides facing. And what you're going to do, you're going to sew, not your gussets, not your 4 gussets. You're going to sew across the bottom and the sides of the main piece, as well as the lining pieces. You're going to line them up nice and neat. You're going to sew across the bottom, and you're going to sew the sides on both the lining and the main pieces. All right, so let's finish pinning and clipping. And I forgot to say earlier, a few seconds ago, that you need to leave an opening in your lining. All right, so I'm going to finish clipping. Right, so this is the main part of your bag. You clip the bottom and the sides, and you're going to sew up the bottom and the sides. For your lining, you pin the sides, and then on the bottom of your lining, make sure that you leave an opening. All right, because once we do this, we're going to sew up our gussets, and then we'll need this opening to turn our bag to the right side. All right, and make sure your straps are out of the way when you're sewing. All right, and when you sew, make sure you are sewing at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right, so what we're going to do now, we have to sew up our gussets. Now we've done this before. So the bottom gussets should be very straightforward. All right, I'm gonna unzip my zipper. Alright, I'm going to stick my hand through the lining, and what you're going to do, and I'm working with the bottom, just gonna kind of sandwich them together. Make sure you line up your seam allowances, so you can open up your seam allowance. Make sure you line them up nice and neat. Fun fact, my gussets rarely come out nice and neat. But I saw a trick on someone's YouTube channel. I was watching one of their videos. Her name is Fierce Kittens. She put double-sided tape to hold hers in place. So I thought that was pretty neat. So you do that side. Come over, do the other side. You're going to do the ones in the lining the same way. Make sure you line up your seam allowances. Right, so what you're going to do, the ones by your zipper, these two are going to go together. So you see you have them both like this. You're going to line these up together as if this zipper isn't in the way, right? Because this is a nylon zipper, so I can sew right across this zipper. So I'm going to open up my seam allowance. Try to get this zipper as center as possible. Then I'm going to open up my seam allowance on my lining. Center that best as possible. And I'm going to pin. So instead of pinning one like we do at the bottom, you're pinning the lining and the main bag, and you're sandwiching the zipper in between. All right. Don't forget to open up your zipper on this other end, because you want to make sure that it's lining up properly. Now if you want to, you can kind of slip stitch this together so it'll stay, or you can sew across it to make it stay, but for the purposes of the tutorial I'm not doing that. So I'm opening up my seam allowance on both the lining and the main bag, and this is the gussets by the zipper. Right, line them up nice and neat. Make sure your zipper is straight. I'm going to put a pin through my zipper so it'll stay in place. There we go. Just make sure you line up everything nice and neat. That's going to be the key to making it look nice when you turn it to the right side. So my zipper moved a little bit, so just pay close attention to that. Alright, now all you have to do is do the same thing to the lining gussets. Just line up your seam allowances, pin them in place. Take this to the sewing machine. You're going to sew across the gussets in your main bag, the gussets you pin by your zipper and the lining, and also the gussets in the bottom of your lining. So you're sewing up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and you're just sewing across at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. All right, so you should have the bottom sewn. This is the main bag. The lining, you should have sewn those two together, and you should also have sewn the sides where your zipper is. Oops. Where your zipper is. All right, so with your zipper, this is the main bag, this is your lining, and the zipper is sandwiched in between. Now go ahead and cut off your excess zipper. Make sure your zipper pull is on the inside of your bag. And when I cut my excess zipper, I'm not using my good scissors. I'm using my paper scissors, because you don't want to mess up your good scissors. So reach through that opening you left in the bottom of your lining. If you need to unzip the zipper some more, go ahead and unzip that zipper and pull everything to the right side. And I didn't mention this earlier, but when you're sewing those gussets, make sure that your straps are out of the way. That would have been a disaster. Poke out all of your corners. You should have 4 corners to poke out. And the top and the bottom. These polka dots are making me a little dizzy. All right, so it's taking shape. I use cotton cloth, so I could probably take this to the ironing board, give it a good press. All right, and you have a cute little bag. Only thing you have to do now is close up this opening that you left in the bottom of the lining. You just line up those seam allowances. Right? Line up these seam allowances and just sew across a little narrow stitch across just to close that up. Stick your lining on the inside of your bag. Zip up your zipper. If you use a fabric that can be pressed, give it a good press and you'll be all done. You have a cute little boxy bag. You're all done. All right, that's it, guys. Now you have a really cute color blocked boxy bag, right? And since you know how to draw out the pattern, you can change the measurements. You can make it bigger, you can make it smaller. You don't have to color block if you don't want to, but then you just have to kind of figure out the strap part of it. But yeah, you can do all kinds of things with this. I can see myself making one that's bigger if you want to take it and you want to take it somewhere and you want to pack things in it. I can also see myself using like maybe a faux leather or a cork at the bottom. So I think that would be awesome. All right, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified each time I post a new video. Thank you for watching.